Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Alice and Anna. My name is Alice and today I would like to talk to you about astrology. Let's go! So you know how when you don't really know much about astrology, like you basically just know, oh, like my sun sign is this or whatever, my zodiac sign is this, and I know horoscopes, but you also at this point probably know this scariest phrase that goes, Mercury retrograde. Oh, scary, 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 scary. That's what I want to talk about today. It's basically kind of like explain what it is if you know nothing about astrology, why everyone is so scared of it, and what do you need to do. Before we start, I have to put on a disclaimer. So basically, I am not a certified astrologist. I'd say I have like a medium knowledge based. My mom, though, is a certified astrologist and numerologist. So I think I can explain the basics to y'all. So first of all, I mean, like, I know it's kind of irrelevant, but basically retrograde, the part of Mercury in retrograde means that the planet is going backwards when we view it from the planet Earth. So when you look at it from Earth, it looks like Mercury is either standing still or going backwards. That's all what actual retrograde means. So it's not just Mercury, like other planets could be, and they are, in retrograde sometimes. In order to understand why everyone is so scared of it, you need to understand what is Mercury, like what is it responsible for in the astrology world. And basically Mercury, it's anything to do with communication. So it's reading, texting, listening. It could also affect anything with, it's responsible for like things like negotiations and contracts, just talking to people because it is responsible for communication, and also things like transportation. So travel plans and car and deliveries and mail and anything to do with that. The reason why everyone gets so scared when Mercury's in retrograde is because communication is like a really big part of our lives, especially like, you know, if you're doing any contracts or if you're about to buy a certain technology thing that's like quite expensive. Basically, Mercury affects those things and it kind of sabotages them. I mean, it might not happen in the moment, but in the future, there might be like a chance that something might happen to the thing that you got during the Mercury retrograde. I mean, that's pretty much it. That's what Mercury in retrograde means. It's just certain aspects of communication are sabotaged, and also people like to say technology as well. I'm not sure if that's true, but my mom says that it is, so I guess it is. Besides that, that's really not much to it. So I'm not entirely sure why everyone is so like, oh, Mercury's in retrograde, this is horrible. No, it's okay, you know? Whenever I talk about Mercury in retrograde, I feel like I have to add one piece of information. So basically, because so when you are born, you have like the natal chart that gives you all of your signs and which planets you're born in. And sometimes you can be born during whilst Mercury is in retrograde, whilst Mercury is not direct, it's going backwards. What that means is that throughout your life, whenever Mercury is in retrograde, it doesn't really affect you that much. But because it's responsible for communication, and communication is like between usually two parties or more, it might still affect you because, you know, it just doesn't affect you, but it, you know, if that affects other person, that will affect you as well, and blah blah blah. So it kind of gives you advantage if you are born in Mercury in retrograde, but it also kind of doesn't. Also, if you're born whilst Mercury was in retrograde, it means that you might struggle with communication a little bit. So throughout your life, you have to kind of learn how to do those skills, but when you do, you master them. And for those people who aren't born whilst Mercury is in retrograde, they're usually great at communication. So for example, you can take my brother and I was born while Mercury was direct, so I was naturally like very, you know, communicative, and I was a pretty good speaker since I was a kid. And my brother was quite shy. It was hard for him to express his feelings because he was born whilst Mercury wasn't in Gatorade, motherfucker. That's pretty much all there is to know about it. I'm gonna leave a link down below. So it's a really nice website. It just tells you straight away if you were born in Mercury in retrograde and whether you should even like give a fuck or not. Personally, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I mean, it's nice to keep track of things, like, oh, Mercury's in retrograde. I mean, you probably know because everyone talks about it all the time. So when you hear that, maybe, and you're working on a contract or you're about to buy a really expensive car, then I'd say, okay, well, you know, take some time, whatever, just think about things a little bit more. And after Mercury is out of the retrograde, then you can sign your contract, then you can buy whatever expensive thing you want to buy. But if not, you know, just go ahead and do it. Or if you don't believe in that stuff, like, just go ahead and do it. I mean, personally, I do check on those things and I do kind of follow them. There are lots of things like that actually in astrology. There are lots of times when you shouldn't do certain things. Like, for example, there's a thing called when the moon doesn't have a course, and at that moment you should basically just stay still, you know, do nothing. At least now you know what it is whenever you hear that phrase, that it's nothing scary, it's nothing crazy, it's nothing that is gonna affect your life a lot, but it might a little bit. What do you need to do? It's just my personal recommendation. I mean, I feel like everyone says that though. Whilst Mercury in retrograde, I'd recommend, I think it's the perfect time to reflect on things and just kind of like take a deep breath, look around you, see what you're doing. You can kind of start making plans, but just don't sign any papers, you know? Don't put anything hard in stone whilst Mercury in retrograde. But it's a good time to like maybe start thinking about things, or just look at what you've done and where you want to move along ahead. Honestly, not that big of a deal, not that scary. I love to be super dramatic about it. I'm like, oh no, Mercury's in retrograde. Thank you for watching this video. I know it's super short. I know it's not the type of things that I usually do, but I feel like it's just a fun, nice little thing to talk about since Mercury is in retrograde at the moment. It started on 30th or 31st of January. It's gonna end on 21st of February. So for the next 3 weeks, chill out, bro. Relax. Don't do anything that you could do later, you know what I'm saying? If you have any more astrology questions or numerology questions, actually, since I am in Russia right now, I can ask my mom and I can answer pretty much anything on her behalf. Leave down a comment down below and I'll make sure that I'm gonna check it out and do the proper research. Leave a like if you found something useful, or, you know, you just wanna leave a like. Don't forget that we upload every Monday and Thursday. Thank you to all the new subscribers, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a good weekend. Bye!